Let's talk about the game Arranger, a role puzzling adventure. Hi, my name is Kurosh, and I'm the host of the KJP show, a show where we elevate and celebrate indie games and game developers. Today, I want to go into a game that I had the pleasure of trying, Arranger, a role puzzling adventure. And you might be wondering what that is. Arranger is a game that was developed by Furniture and Mattress LLC. They developed and published this game and allowed me a chance to try it. And what it is that you take the story of this young girl, and she's in a world where there's a lot of things that are held by some weird magic that holds things statically, and she's figuring out her place in all this, and there's a journey to be had through her just abilities to traverse and through her unique ability to interact with the static things. She's a little bit different, and she's trying to still piece together some things from her past. And there's something to be, I don't want to spoil too much of it, but the story takes us through a bit of a journey that she experiences that then leads her to discover a lot of things, not just about herself, but about those around her that she meets along the way. And it's how she goes about this that makes it the role puzzling adventure. It's almost like, I don't know how to describe it. It's kind of like the map, the layout of the map is grid based, and her movement on the map isn't that it isn't that she's moving, it's that the tiles are moving. That's how it felt to me. So for instance, if there's an obstruction blocking your way from point A to point B, if you just move the other direction, it'll take you through the other end of that tile to mitigate, to like circumvent that obstacle. And then it expands on that concept much more as you go further and further along. You can move things in a way that they then, from a distance, you're able to engage with different puzzle pieces. Just further and further you go along, the puzzles get more and more complex. And I can't go much further without talking about the art style. It's beautiful to look at. If you're familiar with an indie game called Braid, it was a critically acclaimed game, and the art style, the artist for that game was David Hellman. David came into this game and provided the artwork and the art style for what the characters and every concept you see in the world is put together. And it's very recognizable if you're familiar, again, like with Braid. It's a cute, kind of artistic but also cartoony vibe that very much fits the setting and the tone of the story. And I very much appreciated what it was doing. It was something fresh. It was very eye-grabbing, and just it's something I needed to make sure I acknowledge and share about one of the things that makes this game so special. And then, I mean, the big part of this is the puzzling part. At first, I would say I was very impressed by it, but at the same time, kind of put off by it. It was a little abstract at times. I didn't know quite what I was supposed to be doing a few times, but I was overthinking things. That's something I'm guilty of doing a lot. So it was no fault, really, I would say, to the game. It was more so, I just was like, there's something more here. I gotta do something super crazy. And they're like, oh, just kind of shift these two things and you're through the initial puzzles. Granted, as the game went on, the puzzles got more complex, and that was where I started scratching my head. But by that point, I'd kind of gotten the rhythm of what it was going for and what it wanted me to do and how it wanted me to engage with each puzzle. And the rules and parameters of the world are pretty well explained in how you can engage with these puzzles. There are puzzles sometimes where you need to move a series of blocks along it's almost like they're mimicking you, so your movement is going to be mimicked by all these different placements, and you need to time it or arrange it in such a way, keyword there with the tile, arrange it in such a way where they all are moving simultaneously in the correct inputs and ways to unlock the next stage of the map. And then when you get to like what this game would say is the equivalent of a boss fight, those are also interesting puzzles of their own, and I very much enjoyed each of the boss fights and what it did with the story and how it was a puzzle. And I should also give its credit. I think pacing is always a thing to talk about and to recognize with games. Some games overstay their welcome. Some games are too brief. I think this was just the right size. It was a very, I don't mean this in a bad way. It was a bite-sized experience in the best way possible. It was about 7 or 8 hours, and for what the game was and what the types of puzzles it was, that was just the right amount of puzzles I wanted to solve, and for the story, and also kind of with the way in which it engaged me with the story. I don't think this game would have worked as well if it was like, hey, go do like 1800 side quests, go free roam the world. Like, it knew what it was and it knew how to execute on that well. So like, credit to the team for recognizing that and executing on that vision. And I gotta say too, before I close out my thoughts on this game, the story is very well put as well. It all fit, the puzzle pieces all fit really well together, and the characters are quirky. There was a sense of humor, there was a sense of heart and sincerity with each character's like personality and their voice that I very much enjoyed. And as I grew through the story, I grew to feel attached to different characters that the main character meets, and everyone along the way in the world she lives in. And so just being able to, sometimes, like I said, there are games in past videos that I've mentioned where it's very much either the story is the focus or the gameplay is the focus. And I think the team for Arranger does such a good job of making sure that it makes sense with the two. And that's usually what I think stands out when you see a game that's really special, is where that balance fits. And I think here, all the pieces fit just right for that. And so I would say, to the question of, is Arranger worth your time? I definitely think so. If you're a fan of puzzle games, if you're a fan of a bite-sized kind of indie experience with a quirkiness and a heart, and you enjoy puzzle challenges of that kind, check out. I'd highly recommend you at least give it a look and see if it's up your alley. I enjoyed my time with it, and I hope you also do too. Let me know what you think if you give it a shot. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are, what your questions are. If you have any other things that maybe I didn't cover, I want to know so I can make sure I do a better job of communicating what's important to you about indie games or about this game in particular. And I really enjoyed, like I said, my time with this game. I enjoyed sharing my thoughts with you. So until next time, we'll catch you later.